Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Singh Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.
A rash of car thefts. Are car owners too trusting or too naive? And from the farm to your table, how the buying and selling of food is changing in the cities. The Freight House Farmers Market is enjoying great success along the Davenport riverfront. It comes as the Quad Cities Food Hub marks 6 years in operation. We'll see how farm fresh foods are becoming a staple of some people's diet. But first, a string of car thefts linked to young people. In some cases, it could be underage drivers going for joyrides, but police fear it could quickly escalate into something more. And joining us is Davenport Police Chief Paul Sikorsky and Bettendorf Police Captain Keith Kimball. Thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Chief, I mean, this seems to be just joy rides, but so much more than that. When we look at the video, how brazen some of these car thefts have been.
It really is. There's a lot of things going on with the stolen vehicles. They're driving recklessly, wrecking the cars. We've had a rash of robberies and burglaries, shootings as well, that the youth are involved in with the stolen cars. So it's much more than just the loss of property.
And we're also seeing it on both sides of the river. It's not just a Davenport or a Bettendorf problem. It's throughout this region, even up to perhaps even Eldridge, down to Coyne Center. It's kind of a growing area.
We're seeing it not only in the cities, but in the outlying areas as well.
So, Captain, does this mean that it's kind of a copycat, or that kids are, and is it all necessarily kids? I mean, is it something that is just going to grow until something bad happens?
Well, we're seeing a lot of copycats. It's mainly the same group of youth, and they're communicating a lot by social media, Facebook, things like that. But we're seeing ages from anywhere from 12 to 18-year-olds that are involved with this, as young as 11. But that's the main age range, is that what we're seeing.
Is this like a new type of crime for people that are juveniles in this area? I mean, it seems to be a rash. Were they doing something wrong before, and now it's like, oh, we're going to do car thefts?
It's somewhat of a new phenomenon. Within the last 2 years, we've seen a vast increase within the last 2 years. Prior to that, maybe not as so, but they are really. They're doing this in much more numbers, becoming much more aggressive, and we're not only seeing it here. As it's become more of a problem in the Quad Cities, what we're realizing and hearing is this is occurring all over the United States. It's not just located here. You mentioned social media. Is that a key factor to this? I mean, the fact that they got away with it, or whatever happens, it gets posted right away? We've seen instances or circumstances, examples of that, where they are going on social media and bragging about it and making light of it. So does that make it easier to crack the case because you follow the chain of social media and supposedly you should figure out who these people are? It helps, but it's not the only thing that we're doing. Well, Chief, Lock It Up initiative got started, I want to say about a month ago, maybe even a little more than that, as kind of a public awareness that, hey, you can help prevent this crime.
It did. You know, we got together with all of the law enforcement agencies, and it's not just law enforcement. We've teamed up with our prosecutors on both sides of the river, our juvenile court services, and really teamed up. And the original strategy was, what do we do, enforcement-wise, prosecution-wise? And one of the things we wanted to tackle was prevention. Prevention is the key. Virtually all of these incidents are preventable, and they're preventable by our community. So us coming out with a message to the community of, don't leave your keys in the car and just lock your doors. Don't leave your garage door openers in your car if you park out in front of your house. If our community members do that, we don't have these vehicle thefts. And we're not blaming our community members for this. You know, we want to make sure that point gets out. There are individuals responsible for it, but our community members can prevent it. And so we are asking for their assistance with that. But it does kind of underline, I mean, are we a little too naive? Are we a little too trusting in the Quad City area that, you know, crime doesn't happen in our neighborhood? Yeah, I think we are. Unless something happens to you or somebody you know, I think we sometimes just kind of have the attitude of, it won't happen to me. I hear it on the news, but it's not going to happen to me. And it really is. It's happening all over the Quad Cities.
Yeah, as we've learned. And Captain, it just stuns me. I can understand people leaving their cars unlocked. I could see that. But leaving your keys in the car, I just can't believe that's still happening.
Yeah, and as Chief Sikorsky says, it's just getting that message out there to the public and really driving that home as far as not giving them the opportunity, because if we take away that opportunity, it's going to help us a lot, and it's going to put our communities, make them a lot safer, because it doesn't give them the ability. And understand, once they get in one of these vehicles, it gives them mobility to do all these things, to go to outlying areas of the Quad Cities, outside the metro area. So there's not, unfortunately, a neighborhood that can't be touched by this.
Very true. And let's talk about enforcement as well, because I mean, once you find out that a car is stolen, and you're following or pursuing that particular driver, I mean, there's a set of rules that police follow, because you don't want to endanger more of the public.
Right, and that's the quandary we're in, because we're here to protect and serve and enforce the law, but yet when we're doing that, we want to make sure that we are putting innocent people, citizens, at risk when we're doing this. So unfortunately, unless if it's a forcible felony, our rules that we've put out for now is to not pursue. However, some of these crimes that are being committed sometimes do get elevated. For instance, if there's a robbery involved or something else, where then it does become a danger to the community, where we will make the decision to pursue, but that's on a case-by-case basis.
And I don't want to be critical of that decision, but I wonder if that isn't something that also the perpetrators perfectly understand, and that's part of the reason why they can get away with it, because they know that there's not going to be this high-speed chase. They know that they might be more easily able to get away with this.
Right, and that's what we face. So just being aware and working with the different departments out there, still conducting surveillance, and if we have the opportunity to apprehend or at least get that vehicle, if they separate themselves from that vehicle, we'll definitely seize or take possession of that vehicle and then go from there.
And I think that is the reality of it. Is I think that I think people know about police chases, when they can, when they can't, when they will, when they won't, and it's a balancing act, and we don't want to endanger our community anymore. However, the officers that we have out there, not just in Davenport, but throughout the Quad Cities, they're doing an outstanding job of enforcement here. We're using varying degrees of enforcement techniques and things that we're doing both with uniformed officers and plainclothes officers, and we've arrested more than 70 in Scott County since the first of the year. So the arresting and bringing them into the system isn't the sole problem here. It's what do we do with them then when they're in the system?
And that's what I wanted to get to next, is that some kind of a revolving door. They're juveniles, it's a slap on the wrist and they're back out. They know that as well. And that's not something necessarily, I understand, that the police department has to deal with. It's more with well, you have to deal with it, but it's the criminal justice system and everything else. It's got to be frustrating, though, for some of your officers, because, I mean, you're recognizing these kids time and again.
Sure, it is frustrating, but it's not only frustrating for law enforcement, it's frustrating for the whole criminal justice system. So the system that we have in place is a successful system in most cases. And I think the percentage is around 66 to 70% of offenders, youth offenders, don't reoffend. And that's a good number to have. However, there's about 10% of the offenders who are completely frustrating the system, and those are the issues we're having with the officers on the street and with our community too. It's the repeat offenders, those offenders that are going out and committing these acts, and they're responsible for the majority of the issues that we're seeing on the news and our officers are dealing with every night.
Well, in Scott County, just to get a little bit off topic, Scott County has seen some success with some of its youth court to try to divert them out of the not the justice system, but the incarceration in that part. Are we seeing more success in that area where once these kids get into the system, you're trying to divert them out of it as quickly as possible?
We have seen a lot of success with that, and that's with the majority of the youth. Again, it's that 8 to 10% who continually reoffend. And even some of those offenders can be successful in programmed and in structured settings, but once they get out of that setting and get back into their own community, they tend to go back into that same of offending without the support at home.
Right, and that, it always gets down to that.
Yep.
When you look at Bettendorf, for a period of time, you were also having problems with home break-ins, and you take a look at the video now of these people breaking into cars, and it seems to be groups. It's not like one person. It always seems to be like 3, 4, maybe even more than that that are kind of in a group doing this. Is that part of the problem?
Yeah, they're definitely doing groups. They're not out there doing it alone. I mean, we've seen as many as 6 to 8, maybe even 10, where they're again bringing in these previously stolen vehicles into the neighborhoods and getting out and kind of just swarming the neighborhood, checking. Again, they're going to check for door handles. If they get in, they're going to look for any quick things they can get of value. And then if there's a garage door opener, they may hit that, which opens up the garage, which then may lead into another car in the garage that may or may not have keys, or into the first room of the house, which is generally a kitchen. So they're definitely working in groups. You know, when they go out, they're planning. They know ahead of time what their intentions are. It's not impulsiveness just at the last minute. Hey, let's go do this.
But it is a usually targeted neighborhood, because you hit one area and then you're off and go to another.
They all go
area.
in and then they go right out of that neighborhood.
So once again, I'm going to let you give the best pitch for the Lock It Up initiative. I mean, why is it that people need to be more cognitive of what's going on with their property?
Right. And as the chief said, you know, we're not blaming citizens, but yeah, we live in a day and age where, you know, we have to be realistic of what's going on in society. And with this information and by us better educating the public and doing this initiative campaign, just to let people know, you know, if they don't want to be a victim of crime, this is how you can take control of yourself and help us at the same time. So it's just very, very important to lock up all your vehicles. Don't leave anything of value. Don't leave keys, garage door openers in them. And of course, if you see anything suspicious in your neighborhood at any time, day or night, because they're doing these not just at nighttime, they're doing it daytime, please don't hesitate to call 911 and we'll send officers into the area. A
few moments left, Captain Kimball. I want to ask you about something that Bettendorf offers, the Law Enforcement Camp. It's coming up June 12th through the 16th. The registration is June 1st. What a great opportunity for people to learn a little bit more about the policing that's going on.
Yep, it's great. And actually, it's not just our program. It's called the Iowa Quad Cities Law Enforcement Camp. It's actually in conjunction with the Davenport Police Department and Scott County Sheriff's Department. The applications are due by June 1st. It's geared towards high school age kids or kids that are getting into college looking at a career in law enforcement. And it's actually held at the Davenport Police Department from June 12th to the 15th. And there is a cost, I believe it's $65. But we do encourage anybody that's in high school or college that's interested in career in law enforcement. They can learn a lot, and it's put on by all 3 agencies in cooperation. And there is a limit of 30 applicants, so once we get 30 applicants, we have to cut it off.
But kind of a neat immersion education program.
Absolutely.
For the summer.
Yeah, it's a great program, and the attendees get to see a lot about our agency, but also Bettendorf's agency and Scott County Sheriff's Department as well. And it's also a chance for us to see them. So it really all around, it's a really good program.
It works good for recruiting as well?
Absolutely.
Any little thing like that. And I wanted to make sure also, because this is also the week that is a Peace Officers Memorial ceremonies are being held. It's such a critical time for people to remember the lives that have been lost serving our communities.
It absolutely is. And we're touched by all of them that are lost. Especially our own, but it's a time for all of us just to remember the sacrifice that many officers have made, and their families as well. So it's time for us to just reflect on that and to remember that, and to remember how critical our function is for our community and public safety.
Davenport Police Chief Paul Sikorsky, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bettendorf Police Captain Keith Kimball, so nice of you to join us as well.
Well, there are plenty of days left in the month of May, and of course Laura Adams says some great events are coming up in the days ahead, all in case you go out and about before the summer starts.
This is Out and About for May 8th through 14th. Hi, I'm Laura Adams. The World Affairs Council of the Quad Cities invite you to celebrate our diversity with performances, exhibits, and ethnic food at the annual QC World Cultural Festival 2017 on May 9th. There's a tribute to the Beatles rooftop concert coming to the Putnam Museum on May 13th, while the Quad City Wind Ensemble present their concert Heroic Measures on the 13th at Galvin Fine Arts. Comedy Thingy, All You Care to Eat, a podcast and improvisational evening of performances is coming to the Black Box Theater May 13th. And WVIK and the Quad City Symphony present a signature series concert at the Outing Club. While Big Nate the Musical and Music Man end their runs on May 13th at Circa 21. Elephant's Graveyard, a true tale of a struggling circus and a tiny town in Tennessee, which resulted in the only known lynching of an elephant, is presented at the Village Theater. And the Quad Cities Lip Sync Battle is coming back to the Establishment in Rock Island on May 11th. The comedy MASH opens at Playcrafters Barn Theater in Moline and runs through the 21st. And the African Children's Choir perform at the All Saints Episcopal Church in Moline on the 13th at 7. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. Louis Knutson is ready to start the summer with new music. He has an album release party set for next week. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, here's Louis with one of his songs performed on the community stage at the River Music Experience. It's with his band, The Bandits. Here's With Your Soul.
With my words, with my heart, with your soul. If I can't make it any better with my thoughts, I'll try to make it better with my words, with my words. If I can't make it any better with my words, I'll try to make it better with my heart, with my heart. If I can't make it any better with my heart, you'll have to make it better with your soul, with your soul. Whatever your worries, whatever your cares, I'm the one who really loves you. I'm the one who's there, and I'll give you all my words and my heart, but you know that I cannot give you my soul. Whatever your worries, whatever your cares, I'm the one who really loves you. And I'm the one who's there, and I'll give you all my words and my heart, but you know that I cannot give you my soul.
Louis Knutson and The Bandits and With Your Soul. As we said, Louis has a CD album release concert planned for next Thursday, May 25th, and you can join him at Skellington Manor in Rock Island. The concert starts at 8. Well, there's been a growing trend over the past decade to buy foods more directly from the growers. Farmers markets have sprouted up in communities both big and small. And in the cities, we've seen the Freight House transformed into an indoor-outdoor marketplace and the creation of the Quad Cities Food Hub that is trying to grow a better relationship between producers and consumers. And joining us is Pat Connor, chair of the Freight House Farmers Market Board of Directors, and Liz Hogan, Quad Cities Food Hub Operations Manager. Thank you both for joining us. We do appreciate it. Yeah. You are in full swing. Mother's Day is over. Freight House, the farmers market, in full swing right now.
It is. We had a great weekend last weekend. Just a good kickoff. The weather was great. Good kickoff, ready to go.
And what's different this year is that you've got a little different hours.
We moved our Tuesday market to Wednesday, 8 to 1, which is, I think, a good move for the vendors and customers because they can stop before work, come down over lunch hour, grab something, some fresh produce, some food, go back to work, so it's all good.
You're down there every week, every day, all the time.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about what you see as far as the people are concerned. I know you see a lot of familiar faces, but are you seeing more and more new younger families or older people? I mean, what's the customer that you see now at the farmers market?
I think there's a good mix of customers, probably more so younger, 20s, 30 age group that want healthy foods, want good local produced foods. And I mean, we have a lot of good growers that do local produced foods, so it's a good mix down there with the local foods.
Well, and Liz, we should point out that the Food Hub is now marking an anniversary.
Yes.
You've been around now for, what, is it 6 years now?
Yes, 6 years.
Which is an establishment period of time. I mean, you've been around for a while. And what is it that the Food Hub does that people may not understand?
Yeah, so our whole mission is to connect local producers and consumers. And so we have a lot of different programming that we do that through. The most obvious is our retail store, which is a farmers market grocery store open 6 days a week. We also do healthy cooking classes. We do farmer support services, farm to table dinners. So a whole lot of different activities to engage the community as well as the producers.
And you would think that it wouldn't be that tough to do that because we all live so close to the farm. It's not like we're in the middle of New York City. We go past farm fields all the time, but there still is a disconnect between farm and families even in the Quad Cities.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of us look back out in our yard and we see that maybe the subdivision we live in has a cornfield behind it, and we're thinking that that food from that cornfield is going into our grocery stores. But what we are not realizing here is that a lot of that corn growing in our area is for livestock feed. So the food that we do have from the actual farmers isn't as close to our subdivisions in our neighborhoods, but it is still coming in through those farmers to areas like the farmers market and the Food Hub to go directly to those customers rather than at a grocery store.
Well, and Pat, we're talking about the fact that the farmers market's been around for years, a decade if not more. So can we say that this isn't a fad?
No, I think it's here to stay. Myself, I've been there for 15 years as a vendor and involved with the farmers market, the Freight House Farmers Market now for the last 10 years as board member and different relations as far as on the board, and it's here to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, you come down on a Saturday and you see 20,000 plus people down there. I mean, it's crazy. It's fun.
And what does that mean, though? I mean, does it mean that people are eating better, or people are at least more cognitive of what they're eating and what their family is eating?
I think so. I mean, a lot of the local. I mean, we have everything from bakers to produce. I mean, it's all local, homegrown. Some guys even grind their own wheat for their breads and for their baking. And it's just a lot of good local home style food.
Well, and Liz, right now people are so open to it. I mean, like you said, I mean, you offer classes, you get some information out to the public. I mean, people are really, I hate to say this, hungry for this information.
Yes. Yeah, people are absolutely hungry for the information. This week, all of our classes are sold out. We had an herb gardening class, a cooking class, all sold out for this week. And next week, we still have a few openings. So people are really engaged. They're really wanting to get back to those roots of how do I cook from scratch instead of stopping to get that frozen meal or fast food.
Is that kind of the thing that you think right now, is that you see so much processed food that's out there, everything from bread, everything else, that people are looking for an alternative?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we are so busy, you know, especially in the Quad Cities, all of us, we're very busy. And to stop home and to make a full meal and then to get to your next stop isn't always, you know, something some people can do. So finding that healthy, fresh option that may be quick, and that's what we're trying to teach at the Food Hub, healthy, fast cooking classes. So something you can whip up in 5 minutes and feed a family, or take with you on your way to work or on the go.
And you've got each week Food to Fork Fridays, which is easy for me to say, I guess. But I mean, that's kind of a neat concept, and you really try to delve into one particular part of the food chain.
Yes, absolutely. So using that local food and to make a family dinner. So you can either come to the Food Hub and eat that dinner, or you can call ahead or stop by and get it to go. But again, it's using those local healthy ingredients for a quick meal for your family.
Talk about the farmers market and the fact that you are trying to grow it as much as possible. You're thinking of doing things for this summer that people may not have seen down there before.
I guess we'd like to make it a good family event for kids of all ages and parents as well. So, you know, just different Saturday events as well as Sundays events, and with the Wednesdays. But just a good family function. That's what, with the ballpark right next door. They got the Ferris wheel and all the amusement that they have there now. That's open on Saturdays when we're there. So they're more than welcome to go over there and visit the Vault Diamond as well.
As a longtime resident of this area, I mean, you saw the Freight House abandoned, and then they tried to make it into an entertainment complex, and then the City Council and former Mayor Gluba going to Detroit and kind of emulating what you see in Detroit right now. It's really been a metamorphosis down there, and it's really reinvigorated that area of downtown.
Oh yeah, it's I mean, it's sad to say, but parking is a premium on a Saturday, but at the same token, I mean, it's quite the event for Saturday. I mean, to come to the farmers market and being a vendor and being there for numerous years, it's fun to sit there and watch people just come in. They might grab a cup of coffee, walk through the aisles, see what produce is around, see what's here for, you know, to buy, and then they may spend a better share of the morning there just shopping, looking, and deciding what to buy, and then all of a sudden they're filling their wagons or their shopping bags, and out the gate they go with the...
Yep, absolutely. And Liz, you're seeing that too. I mean, you see people that are walking by, they take a look at what you've got, but tell me a little bit more about those that may not have gone down there. How can they register for classes or even find out what you have going on the docket?
Yeah, so a lot of it we do online, so quadcitiesfoodhub.org. You can sign up for classes, you can sign up and reserve farm dinners, and even shop our products. So we offer all of our farmers market products online now, available for purchase and home delivery. So if you don't know about the Quad Cities Food Hub, check us out online, look at our products. If you're interested, come on in store.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much to offer, and it will be a very exciting summer too. But you guys are open so often, all the time. Don't be hesitant to check it out. Once again, Pat Connor from the Freight House Farmers Market, Liz Hogan. So good to see you from Quad City Food Hub. We appreciate you being here. WQPT is doing its part to support the military men and women in the cities who are serving our nation. We call it Embracing the Military, and the Arsenal's Leisure Travel Office has a couple great trips being offered in the coming weeks. Reservations are being accepted right now for a Cubs-Cardinals bus trip to Wrigley Field. The June 4th game starts at noon. The $149 price includes round-trip transportation and a ticket. And you can find out more at the Leisure Travel Office. Find out also how you can make reservations online. Also, there's a second bus trip to Chicago later that week. That bus will take you to either Navy Pier or Shedd Aquarium on Saturday, June 10th. You can explore the city right after. The cost for transportation, $41 per person, so you can make your reservations right now with the Leisure Travel Office. On the air, on the radio, on the web, and on your mobile device. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues of the cities.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.